Okay, so let's do problem number 5. So first of all, we print all the program variables at the beginning, all the program level variables, and note here that we're only printing the first 3 elements of M, so that's what I've drawn in red there, and then we'll be printing X and Y, which are also highlighted in red. So the output here is just going to be 2, 3, 5, which are the first 3 elements of M, and then X, which is currently 0, and Y, which is currently 1. And that's actually going to be the output for all these, so I'll just leave that line in there in the future. Okay, so now we do the G equals, or G of MXY call. And so when we do that, we are going to need to copy the values in. So if the setup for 5 is that all types are value types, and all parameters are passed by value. So essentially, we copy everything into the function, and we never copy anything out. So hopefully, at this point, you can sort of look ahead and see that, well, nothing's really going to change that's going to affect what's printed except for this line right here, which changes y, which is our program level variable. So let's just walk through this just to make sure we understand what's going on. So at the beginning of the function, we copy m into a. So a will become 2, 3, 5, and I'm not going to write them all out because, as you can see, the first 3 are the only ones that are ever printed anyway. So then we copy x into b and y into c. So this is the first invocation of G, and then we do, so A sub B equals 0. So at this point, B is 0. So that is going to, so let me switch over to red here. Actually blue because we're already using red. So A sub 0 equals 0 is going to change this 2 to a 0. Then we increment B, so that changes B to 1. And then we increment y by b. So this is the first change that's going to be visible outside of g. So this increments y to 2. And then we set a sub c. A sub 1, which is this 3 here, we're going to set that equal to 8. So that changes this. Okay, and then we come to the end of the function, and at this point, really everything inside of G goes away. They're just local variables. This is passed by value, so nothing gets copied back out. So really all of this kind of goes away. And so when we go to print, we're going to just be printing M, X, and Y again. And so the only thing that's changed, the only effect that G has had is that it has changed Y from 1 to 2. And so that's going to be the change in output in our second line. Okay, so now we have our second call to G over here. So we should do that setup. So we're copying A in again. A hasn't changed, so it's still 2, 3, 5, dot, dot, dot. B hasn't changed, it's still 0. And so now the difference is, oh, I'm sorry. That is incorrect. So got ahead of myself. Right. So this time remember that we are calling with y and y rather than x and y. Common easy mistake to make when you're skipping ahead too quickly. So make sure you take your time when you're working these things. As you can see, I almost did it myself. Okay, so we're going to be copying y into b. So that's going to be a 2 here, and we're copying y into c as well. Now note that there's no references going on at this point, so it was just the same value that happened to get copied in for 2 different formal parameters. The actual parameters were the same, but in pass by copy, you just copy the values and then you proceed the way you normally would. Okay, so A sub B, so now B is 2, so we are going to be changing this element right here. So this sets it to 0, so that line has that effect. We increment b again, so that's going to change this to a 3. And then we do a sub c, which is still 2, so that's still going to change this element, and we're going to change that to 8. Okay, and I forgot to do the update to y, didn't I? Yep. So we are going to do y plus equals b, which it makes y increment. So y was originally 2, b is 3, so now y is going to become 5. Sorry, I did those out of order. But in any case, again, you can see that when we exit the function, the only real change, because all these variables go away, the only real change that matters is that we have changed y. And so when we come down here to write our output, it's going to be 2, 3, 5, 0, and now 5 rather than 2. So that's the solution to number 5. Not a terribly complicated thing to follow through, but make sure that you understand what happened with that.